What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Bill's World. I'm Justus General Radford, and of course, I'm always with Legend of Two Games, Pee Wee, Coach Muki Hawkins in the building. What's going on, Coach? How you feeling?
Man, it's game day, baby. I'm ready.
Yes, we are a couple of hours out from it being Sunday. Bills play the Bucs tomorrow. a lot of chatter this week. There was obviously bound to be some with a loss to a previously 2-7 team. A division rival at that. You just push yourself that much further back in the AFC East standings, let alone the AFC standings. So a lot of chatter, but Joe Brady kept his job despite firing of Coach Dayball this week. Let's talk about that. What is your thought process on Brady keeping his job, even though Dayball got fired?
Whoa, slow down, big fella. Slow down.
You
Slow down. Like, just get rid of Brady so soon because Dable's available. That's what you
Yeah,
want.
absolutely. Non-question.
Nah, this don't work like that.
No. I know it don't work like that, but you bring him onto the staff and you.
Well, I agree with that. I mean, someone as Coach Dable's expertise and his experience alone, what he was able to do, with Josh Allen, was a send him. We saw the transformation in Josh with Dable because Dable drafted him. Dable know what he can do with him. Dable always protected Josh away from himself. Dable's probably the best known guy that knows Josh Allen better than Josh Allen knows himself. So it is a difference when knowing the guy and how you can help him because you have experience to do that. I just believe that it's a struggle between play caller and Josh Allen, basically because of the experience factor. Josh has more experience as a quarterback than Brady has as a play caller. So how does Josh Allen really evolve into the quarterback we need him to be? When you have that factor, and people can say, well, you know, that don't work, but it's some truth to that. You need a veteran guy to help him. Josh, your quarterback has more experience than the play caller, so he's seen more than the play caller. You know what I mean? When it comes to going up against defensive coordinators, and we're going to go up against another defensive coordinator / head coach and Coach Bowles tomorrow. So it's going to be real interesting to see. And a lot to talk about on this offense. It seems like the Bills have shuffled the deck as well.
Yeah, I know that they're not just going to fire Joe Brady and then bring in an offensive coordinator to just coach one week. Like I know, but I think I will say if there was a if there was a Ken or Joe Brady to Ken Dorsey was here, but there was a Joe Brady also here, right? If there was another guy who was to Joe Brady what Joe Brady was to Ken Dorsey, I do think Joe Brady would be fired right now. If there was
Well,
another guy that
it is a guy, but we can't say now he's coaching. You know what I mean? I mean, I could say it, but will be a younger guy, another young guy I would give a shot to. Other than that, Josh Allen need a veteran guy to help him get over the hump.
yeah, that's to
You
finish
know,
the season.
like,
I feel like Brady is I don't know, it's not clicking.
well,
It's not.
he has to evolve too as a play caller. You know what I mean? In every certain situation of greatness, you have to evolve at some point. In order to be this great quarterback, Josh Allen has to evolve. He has to evolve at some point to get to a Super Bowl, right? Coaches have to evolve as better play callers in certain situations. Like you have to evolve. Like even 8-9 years of being a head coach for the first time for one franchise, Coach McDermott evolves. You have to evolve at certain point in each. I say every year, but you learn something each year. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Like you learn something new each year. No matter how long you've been coaching, you're supposed to go through something, a new experience each year that's going to help you grow. And you build off those experience So when you do recognize them, you be prepared for those situations. And I just think right now, bringing Dable back to some senior advisor capacity would definitely be helpful to your quarterback and helpful to Brady too, because now, let Dable groom you. Brady, you haven't been groomed in the NFL. You come in with a hot boy team. You had a whole 5-star squad at LSU. And okay, you got your start at Carolina, but you was let go mid-season. You know what I mean? Like, why was he let go mid-season in Carolina? Nobody's talking about that. Did him and the head coach fall out? I never seen nothing like that neither. Like
And
where a
and
coach.
a lot of I remember when that happened, there was a lot of Carolina Panthers fans saying it wasn't his fault. But looking back in hindsight, you had Baker Mayfield and I think Sam Darnold at one point. So you have two superstar quarterbacks currently, and you couldn't figure it out with them either. Kind of made them look like they were still bad quarterbacks. So I think that there was interesting
I
context
don't
there.
know. I just think it's too. I mean, you come fresh off winning a national championship, and you around mid-season. You only there for half a season, so that could be a lot of things. But I mean, that could be a lot of things, but it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder, and you come in learning from those mistakes, but he hasn't evolved, and that's what I think you see probably where the struggles at in the Bills offense, and people is getting in the line of fire, and they shouldn't be, and
But
that's
why do we keep having coordinators who have to evolve if we are competing against a 20 plus year head coach who's already a Hall of Famer and an offensive guru, and then another defensive coordinator who's already a Hall of Famer and a defensive guru? Yet we're employing coordinators who have less than 5 years experience over and over again ad nauseum.
well, I mean, you got to look at it too. Can Coach McDermott coexist with those alpha guys? Sometimes you want to be the alpha guy. This is your project, and there's always some type of backdoor stuff in any level you do. Like, we look at even here, we coach little league and we coach high school. There's always somebody that's want to be in a position that you win. You know what I mean? Is it happens on all levels that way. You know what I mean? So maybe that's it. Coach McDermott just basically, want to trust his guys. You want to groom his guys. I mean, me as a coach, I like coaching coaches too. I like to develop that way. And, maybe that's some of Coach McDermott's makeup. Like, he like to develop all the way from the top to bottom, develop his coaches as well as his players, because now, your system works. It's all they know. It definitely builds trust, right? So, I think it's more so of that rather than, trying to go and get a guy off the street or whatever, a namesake guy, but still could be washed too. You know what I mean? Still, so you got to be careful. And ain't too many seasoned veteran guys that I would want to be around, with Josh Allen at this point. Frank Reich, Brian Dable will probably be my only two seasoned veteran guys if available. My young guy, if Brady gets a job, he's still a hot commodity out here. You know what I mean? Even though he's slumping, he's still a hot commodity, and get in a position, whether it's NFL or college right now. In that event, I mean, maybe, like I said, Davis Webb will probably be the young guy. I think him and Josh always have a bond, and Davis Webb was under Dable as the third string quarterback who really had a grasp on the playbook and helped Josh get through the playbook in the season during COVID. So I would say him as far as a young guy, you know what I mean? But other than that, Dable, Frank Reich, or whatever the case may be, if Brady gets another position somewhere, then yeah. But other than that, you still have to evolve because you're going up against, like you mentioned, those Hall of Fame offensive gurus. You have to evolve as a play caller, or be predictable against those gurus and Hall of Famers. What are you going to do to beat them? You have to evolve. And you probably have to learn from them, beat them at their own game. Sometimes that's what it takes. So I think it's more or less of, Brady still has to learn how to evolve too. He's fresh in the only calling plays for 3 seasons, so it takes time.
Yeah. Um, So you mentioned that he likes to coach, from the bottom up. Even like the coach of his coaches. I feel like that is almost more damaging for a perennial Super Bowl contender. Because let's say that you successfully do this and you coach up in OC or DC. I think that young coach who is seen as a quote unquote prodigy because he's with a successful organization, I think that would lend to that coach being almost immediately hired elsewhere as a head coach, and you'd be in a perpetual turns cycle.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that. I mean, you got to look at the overall sustained success as well. You know what I mean? And even though I know can't win the big one, whatever the case it is, you still don't want to risk the overall sustained success, because one wrong move you can go back to a 17-year drought making the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So like it's this team isn't fire. I just think that they kind of like in their own way right now. You know, that's what I think. Like, and sometimes you go through those barriers before you do get over that hump. You get in your way, you know? So that's what I think it is. I believe that they got the weapons. It's just not clicking. And it's up to the offensive coordinator to make sure it clicks, period. Not Josh Allen trying to put a cape on. It's the coordinator's coordinator. You know what I mean? It's their job to coordinate to make sure they got the proper personnel and the right plan in every situation of the game. So and for you to have a reigning Super Bowl MVP in a top 5 running back, this game should be way a little bit more easier and effective offensively. What we've been seeing the second quarter of the season. First quarter teams don't got book on you. Our teams know what you're doing. They got an idea and grasp or pulse of what you like to do, and you haven't been creative or creative enough to remain consistent at what you do, because teams feel that you got a grasp on what you're doing. But we're gonna have some new personnel guys coming in tomorrow, especially in the receiver core. It's gonna be real interesting to see how it's gonna be displaced. So it's gonna be
Speaking of
interesting.
speaking of interesting, I mean, you said it, new personnel coming in. Sean McDermott said earlier in the week that we're going to have to work with different combinations of receivers, which is things you usually hear during training camp, not week 11, but here we are. And as a result of that, we have seen a healthy scratch from second round pick, Keon Coleman. And who better to give us some perspective on our second year wide receiver than one of our legendary wide receivers? We are joined now by Bills legend himself, Mr.
Yo,
Steve Johnson. What's going on, Stevie?
what's
Stevie
up with the fan
Corleone,
base?
what's up, my guy?
Man, yeah, it's good to be on, good to see my brothers in here, man. Talking the talk,
Likewise.
getting ready for this Sunday. We got a game that we about to bounce back on. I think I'm going to say 21 piece. We about to beat them by 21. I don't see them going over 16. I don't see the Bucs going over 16, especially without a running game against our Bills at home. So, yeah,
So
I'm
you
feeling
saying
good.
the Bills put up a 40 burger or almost a 40 burger, 37 points?
37. I'm thinking 37-16.
Or you just come right pop up in the screen like a computer virus and say the Bills just gonna just have their way tomorrow.
You
Hey, I
you
wish
can't
I had your
expect
confidence,
anything. You,
brother.
you can't expect anything less. After getting dogged out by a division opponent, to the world it looks like the Bills are hurting, but really no, we're not. We just ran into a team. That's in our division. Those are always a test. And then when you're one of the best teams in the league, you get the best out of every team. So with the Bills coming back home, it's a comfortable spot. The media is circulating around our receiving position, the playmakers, and with Josh being able to come back home, I feel like it's going to be something special. And, that goes into the things that's been made, as this game has came on. So we can dive into that too with Keon.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I was about to we were about to get into. And so perfect opportunity to answer the question. Keon Coleman is a healthy scratch for tomorrow. First of all, before we talk about Mecole Hardman and Gabe Davis and everything, what are your thoughts on Keon Coleman's production so far this season? What you're expecting from him in the future, and what the scratch could mean for him?
All right, so far what I've seen was a player that's doing the most with I can't even say doing the most. He's doing well with what he's given. You got to think about Keon Coleman's position. I was thinking about it. He's literally the sixth receiver on the team, and I say that I mean the sixth option. You got to think about Cook, Kincaid, Dawson Knox. You think about Josh just taking the ball. Then you got to think about Josh
Shakir.
Palmer. You got to think about Shakir. Yeah, you got to think about six different players before you really, have Keon in your progression. So, with what he's doing, him being the only one that scored last week in the receiver room, he's making the most of what he's getting. Not to mention the way he's being coached up. But that's for a whole nother discussion. As far as what's going on right now with the healthy scratch, I feel like it may be a blessing in disguise. It's something to where I feel like McDermott is actually making a chess move right now, as opposed to what we're seeing as a checkers move. Like, okay, something must be happening with Keon. Maybe it's not. Maybe he's actually protecting Josh in a sense of we understand when you got all this action and commotion going on around a certain player. Now you're kind of indirectly making your quarterback have to set up this other guy so that the fans can. We don't want to do that. We want our quarterback to be like peaceful and clear minded. That's why we don't have a dog like Stephon Diggs still here. So Josh can take lead. So I think this is a chess move, honestly. We're going to give Josh peace of mind, let him go out here and hopefully dominate the Bucs, at home in the cold weather, obviously. A game we should take over, and then you bring in a Keon Coleman maybe next week or a week after, because we all understand that this offense is kind of. I ain't gonna say this offense nothing. We go back to he's the sixth option. We don't need to be spending a lot of time trying to force feed our sixth option, is what they're showing. So let's get Josh back on track, and that's what I think. This is a chess move.
Yeah,
Coach.
chess move, but I mean the guy scored a touchdown last week, so it's a little bit more, you know, with the healthy scratch as far as production. I don't think, is it has anything to do with production. I think it's just more of, I guess it's just maturity, to some degree. I mean, this always goes back from, I guess on being late to 2 minutes, 2 minutes, he was cited late for, and he didn't start a series or whatever the case. So, maybe it's a continuation of that, but it's clearly known that he's in somebody's doghouse, whether it's Brandon Beane, Joe Brady, or Coach McDermott. He's in one of those three doghouses to be a healthy scratch after you were still able to produce, last week.
I don't think it would be Joe Brady. I don't think Joe Brady has the cachet to come in and put the second round pick as a healthy scratch.
I
What were you
don't know
about to say,
who it
Stevie?
is, but it was one of those three. I mean, he is the offensive coordinator, man. So I mean, he would have some definite input on a guy being a healthy scratch, that's for sure. So I mean, it's one of those three. Whatever it is, Keon got to do whatever he got to do to get out of the damn doghouse, and if he got to lock in, lock in, he just got to lock in, and and whoever has a distrust for him right now, that needs, he got to do whatever he got to do to rebuild that, whatever it is, so I think
Whoever is everybody. Like, what we're seeing out there is obviously not an evolution of a second round pick or first pick out of the second round. And it's obvious is because of how it's schemed up. It's obvious because of the natural progression. He's not going to get the reps Emeka Ibuka is going to get. He's not going to get the reps that all those other guys are getting because of the team that he's on. And that's just it is maturity, but I don't think it's maturity out of him being late. If it is, I think that's still ridiculous. Stopping somebody from playing over
A
being late
whole
to a meeting.
game is
Yeah, yeah,
insane.
yeah. I got stories about that with what's the other guy? I don't even want to bring up his name, the other coach, but like that's ridiculous. I feel like is really, and then then we talked about production. He's the only one that scored a touchdown. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So why do you sit him? Whose doghouse? Like why would a guy that was productive be in a doghouse? It's just evident we're protecting Josh. We're getting Josh back on track to not have to think about going to zero when we know that his plays are the longest to develop. When I say his, Keon's plays. So we don't want Josh to sit there and keep looking over there unless it's one of those situations where Keon scored. Hey, you got to hike it, he got to go ball, and you throw it up. But we don't want to force the issue, because if you force the issue and you lose to the Buccaneers at home, imagine what's going to happen then. So I think they're putting all their chips on their natural playbook, letting Josh be Josh, comfortable, peaceful back there, and banking on him to win at home like we normally have for the past 4 years, just consistently at home. And then we all will forget about it in the media, and then Keon will come float in, and then maybe Palmer blew up, maybe whoever popped off this week, and we'll just keep riding that. And then Dalton Kincaid is going to come back. So really nobody's going to be putting any pressure on Keon to do much. So Keon can take this as maturity and watch from the sideline, dive into being a quote unquote receiver quarterback coach now. You know what I mean? Be over there with them. Yeah, he's going to be in the fire, but I don't think he's in the fire that much unless you know something that I don't in one Bills drive, brother.
So you don't think it would be more detrimental to Keon Coleman's confidence, his status, and all the above if
Yeah.
Gabe Davis, Mecole Hartman come in and start going crazy with the offense?
Yeah.
Well, what I want to see is, okay, how creative is Brady going to be with those guys? And, that's what I want to see. Like, it can't be the same thing because you're going to get the same result. And then will it be Keon Coleman for? Like, I feel that they're blaming him because the Bills lost to Miami. Like, that's what I'm getting. That's how I feel about it. I don't even understand that part. I don't
Facts.
even understand that. How he's getting the blame, it feels like to me, on why the Bills lost to Miami. That's ridiculous.
Hey,
But
and
so
you know
that's
what?
why I say it gotta be in somebody's doghouse or something else, because you don't guy's not a healthy scratch because of the way he played in Miami. Or maybe it was.
Facts.
They were
So
saying targets
there's
from
a
routes.
rumor.
He was dogging the routes or whatever that wasn't
Yeah,
to him.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay, but guess what? Take him out. Let somebody else run it. Let somebody else run that. Like,
Right. That's the case. You gotta sit James. And you gotta sit Josh Allen fumbling. You know what I mean? Don't understand. You gotta sit Dawson Knox for missing the zero blitz hot read. You know what I mean? You gotta do a lot of things. I feel like the answer, the first question from you, Justice, is it will affect Keon a little bit, but that's personal thing, and he's young, and that it really won't matter, at the end of the day, because he's only in his second year, so you can take this. For you, Dom, is like, yeah, I feel like they are using somebody, and who better than to use it on our young guy who's going through the fire, and we know we're going to keep him, hopefully, but we know we're going to keep him, and then we're just going to bring him in later, because we know we can't scheme it up for him right now, or we don't have the coaching assistants to put us in that position because we're trying to control everything. I didn't need to say all that, but that's how I feel.
now, and you may be right, though, because when you do look at the situation, Khalil Shakur is getting paid 13, 14. Palmer is getting paid 12, 13. You got Kincaid that's getting 12, 14. You got Knox. That's 12, 13. You got Kincaid, that's your top pick.
Mm-hmm.
So and then it's Keon Coleman, like you said, he got time still to develop. You know what I mean? And
I draft, but not in the money part.
they did the same thing to Gabe Davis, if you really look at it. Gabe Davis came in, 35 catches as his rookie year, 7 touchdowns, almost 500 yards. What they do? They brought Emmanuel Sanders in the very next year. And then, he still ended up getting damn near the same exact numbers, 35 catches, 8 touchdowns, and then, again, almost 500 yards. take the reins off, now you have the one of the greatest performances in the AFC Championship game history, and then 99-yard bombs, and then you don't re-sign the guy. He gets his bag. Unfortunately, he gets hurt. He's back now. So that's a guy that's familiar with your scheme, a guy that that Josh has trust with, a guy that that made plays for you, and that's what is really lacking out of the receiver group is the lack of playmaking ability that is shown. I don't know if it's schematically it's not happening. Brady's not scheming up, or creative with the wide receivers as he is with the slot and the tight end. So
Josh got to let it rip.
Yeah, we're going to see with Palmer. We know he's going to be out there. Harmon, we know he's going to be out there. Gabe Davis may be out there, but a guy that we're not talking about is Shavers. If Keon Coleman's not out there, maybe Shavers have a big day out there tomorrow. Somebody is going to have to rise to the occasion, right? And I want to see how creative, this offense is going to look with Mecole Hardman out there. Will it be a difference, or will he just get one target and one catch as well, like everybody else? I bet I see him on a jet sweep. He better not more. I bet not see no jet sweeps.
Don't want to see a jet sweep, and I want to see Josh letting it rip. Because if he let it rip, that's how the playmakers make those plays. Gabe was making those huge plays not because he was getting crazy separation or nothing like that. He did make somebody touch land, but Josh was letting it rip. He was letting it fly, and then Gabe was going to go get that thing. Gabe wasn't calling out for the ball. He wasn't demanding it or commanding it. Josh was just letting it go. So, I think we're going to see that gunslinger from Josh Allen this tomorrow, and then Bill's back on track.
Yeah,
I'm curious. What gives you guys the confidence that Joe Brady is going to take two wide receivers who previously weren't on teams and bring them in and make them effective? If he couldn't make the wide receivers who he got a full offseason program with effective, I trust me, I'm an optimist of optimists. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just haven't seen enough from Joe Brady to have any confidence in him at all.
But you have, though. You just got to think back. Think back maybe 4 weeks, and then think back to the last season. We averaged 30 points, close to 30
Stevie,
points.
let me defend
those two guys.
Let me defend my point real quick, right? We look at the Ravens game, and the offense was essentially stagnant for 3 quarters. And then when Josh Allen let it rip, then they went crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Josh Allen, typically, if Josh Allen isn't making plays off schedule, then it's James Cook. And that's about 85% of our offense. So
that's all we need, honestly.
Fair. But I could call the plays if that's the case.
Yeah, hey, but that's all we need to do. I think if we would have done that and didn't get those fumbles forced on us, the game probably would have played out totally different.
For sure. But it wouldn't have made it any less sloppy or unimpressive.
Yeah, but we've been taking that, though. As long as you get the dub. At the end of the day, as long as you get the dub.
See, but you know what? In that right there, that's fair, because I get it. I can understand that mindset.
But you're not getting the dub playing that way, though. It's a difference when you're not getting the dub.
But see, my thing is you're not getting the dub in the AFC Championship game when you play the Chiefs. That's what it is.
Okay. Yeah,
all this is so that we can beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Let's be real. That's what it is. And the way we are currently playing on both offense and defense, we will not beat the Chiefs in the playoffs.
You
got to look at who didn't play. Michael Hoyt factor was clearly evident last week.
He won't be there this offseason.
Clearly evident. AJ Epinesa, who's been a savage versus Miami and Tua, not playing.
Yes.
All right, not playing.
Terrell Bernard,
no show. We're not talking about that. You know what I mean? Like, you got to start holding people accountable. Terrell Bernard and Matt Milano was a no-show.
I would say hold the coaches accountable in that sense. You got to sub these guys out. We got guys dressed up. Give them a couple plays off. Like, them guys is out there dogging it.
Yeah.
They didn't get no substitution. Yeah, if you're not making a play early, give another guy a chance. Then you might get sparked up to be legal and make more plays. You know what I mean? But then put them back in. But they was playing probably the whole game. And I'm not trying to make excuses because yeah, you're supposed to make plays, but then let's really be honest. Like again, our linebackers are undersized and they play like freaking missiles. So they're going to take a beating. Now you put them in the heat, then you got them playing all game. It come after riding that high, no excuses. Hey, you got to substitute your guys and keep them fresh at the end of the day, and that goes for D line, O line, receiver group, all that. That's why I even see this Keon Coleman sitting as a blessing. He getting to take a break halfway through the season, and tighten up on your mentality and come back stronger later with a fresh group of other dogs to make your job easier. So, it can be easy to take it personal, but you got to just sit back and understand the real perspective of what's going on right now.
Right.
Yes.
And hopefully we'll get a good glimpse of Josh Palmer. Was good things happening before he went down with that injury. He will be out there probably tomorrow for the first time since then. Now, do the Bills pick up where they left off with Palmer, or do they go back to the 2 targets, 15-yard Palmer?
Yeah, I believe they have to, especially after him sitting and when they was going to him against that Falcon game when he got hurt, they went to him early, and with his speed and his skill set, he was able to get to the places in the time that Josh need in this scheme that I really don't like, have him sitting back there waiting and all that. But hey, Josh Palmer actually got the skill set for it, so I'm hoping that they can really attack that, and that may be the balance or the game within the game that McDermott is playing right now with these receiver playmakers.
Yeah. I want to see the big arm talent. Like, when are we going to really watch this guy's arm? He's been lauded to have this big arm. Let's put it on display at least 1 year. At least 1 year. Can we just let the arm loose, man? Can we let the cannon, the bazooka loose? Can we be creative? Can
You're not
Josh
doing that with
go
Joe
to
Brady
the
as the
left
offensive
and
coordinator. That's
throw a
not
bomb
happening with
back
Joe
to
Brady
the
as the
right
offensive
with
coordinator.
Cole Harmon, burning it up out there?
Yeah,
Like,
it can be done. It can be done.
Not with Joe Brady, it can't be.
That's why a lot of the
stop
times I
saying
talk, Josh got to do that. He got to Peyton Manning, Tom Brady that thing. Hey, yeah, but yeah, man. Look, hey, it's good to be on with the fan base. I got these bets going on UFC right now. I need Wei Lee to knock out Shevchenko, and she a savage. Then I got Makachev. Y'all watch UFC?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
it's up right now. Benoit Saint Denis just knocked out Dariush in
Ooh.
like 15 seconds. Yeah.
Oh shoot!
Yeah.
We about to get out of here anyway. You gave us a score prediction.
Yeah.
Give us real quick of what you expected from Josh Allen before you got out.
Yeah, I'm expecting Josh to go out there and be the MVP. I believe Josh is going to use his legs a little bit more this time because he understands he's got to carry this team internally. He's going to make it seem cool and he's going to get everybody involved. He may have a great passing game. Let's say under about 6 incompletions. I would say no more than 6 incompletions again. But he'll use his legs a lot more, I believe.
I appreciate you. Hey, Bills legend, NFL legend, one of the best route runners to ever do it. Appreciate you for stopping by, brother. You have a good night, man.
One love, fan base. Go Bills for life.
Stevie Corleone, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, coach. You got any predictions for Sunday before we head out?
Well, I just want to see him play with some urgency. I want to see some aggressive play calling. I want to see talking about it. I want this offense to really be about it tomorrow. Like, okay, you got Cole Harmon, you got your speed guy. Let's be about it tomorrow. All right, you got Josh Palmer. Let's be about it tomorrow. All right, Gay Davis may suit up. Let's be about it. You got James Cook. Let's be about it. You got Dawson Knox. Let's be about it. You got Khalil Shakur. Let's be about it. You have Josh Allen. All right, like, be aggressive. Be about it. All right, because it can't be the same. We're gonna keep saying this week in and week out. So I mean, need to see some sort of changes. You got the playmaker. All right, let's see what you're gonna do with this here. What combinations you're gonna put out there. How much balance you're gonna have. Is it gonna be a James Cook 150 yards and Josh Allen 250 or 300? Like, is it gonna be one of those games? Is the defense gonna be able to stop Baker Mayfield, Cade Otton, and the rookie sensation over there. You know what I mean? So again, it starts up front, right? And we know Bowles is going to be blitzing, goofy. So we're going to see how Joe Brady is going to, handle that and respond to that. On the other side of things, I know the Bills struggle with stopping the run, and Tampa Bay barely gets over 100 yards a game with Rashad White. So if all of a sudden Rashad White just start having a season high day, then we're not changing nothing up front, and something needs to change up front. Hopefully, I'll see Deion Walker more so out there than DQ. Say DQ for let him back the young fella up, man. Let the young guy play. And then you say DQ for the stretch run, but you gotta let your young dogs play. You've seen it the past couple of weeks, so got to get back to that. I'm not sure if Morgan Fox will play. I do like to pick up with that because he has a motor similar to Michael Hoyt. So, will we see him out there? Will Jovan Solomon, get an opportunity to, get after the passer now that you don't have Landon Jackson out there? So many things we can't wait to see when this inactive roster come out around 10:30, 11 o'clock. That's going to be the biggest thing Bills fans going to want to see. Who's really suiting up tomorrow? But I do believe that the Bills is going to get it done. They always up and down, up and down. This is the time where he got no choice but to go up, right? So I do say Bills will win this game, but it's going to be it's going to be a barn burner. Baker Mayfield is a competitor, so he's going to come in here ready to play. And I say the Bills win 27-23.
Okay. Tough game. It'll be a tough game.
The Bills need a game like that. They need to win a tough game. Like a blowout ain't gonna do them no justice. They need to win a dog fight. Like they need to win a tough game. And this is everybody really circled this game to be the track game when you looked at it in the beginning of the season. Where do you see this Bills team really losing the first game? A lot of people said that this would be that track game. So here it is with a lot more at stake. Before right now that it is week 9. So yeah, Bills take care of business, get it done. They may have to come with a game-winning drive to win, but it'll be a close, tough one, and the Bills will win 27-23.
I need the Buffalo. I don't care if the Bills win the game or not. This is the first time in my life I'm actually saying this. I don't care because it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. We're probably going to lose the division. It's all about getting to the playoffs and winning the Super Bowl.
And the division don't matter.
I need the Buffalo Bills to score 40 points tomorrow. I need Joe Brady to coach like his life depends on it. I need Joe Brady to coach like his job depends on it. I want to see the football going 30, 40, 50 yards in the air. I want to see 12 yards per run. I want to see him scheming like he's never schemed before. That's what I think the Buffalo Bills need. I think the Buffalo Bills need Josh Allen's confidence to be at peak level. I think the Buffalo Bills need for MVP Josh Allen to be present in order for us to win a Super Bowl. And I don't think we get that Josh Allen with the way things are currently going. So I would like to see an influx of confidence be pushed into the roster because Josh Allen is out there throwing the ball all over the field, because that's when the defense gets more energetic. That's when turnovers happen. That's when the stadium is rocking. And that's when you hear that song in the fourth quarter. Was it Mr. Brightside or whatever? So I would like to see Joe Brady just call the best game he's ever called, just so that we can justify, all right, you can do it. Because if we score 27 points, I've seen the Bills fall into 30 points while having a terrible offensive output. So that would scare the crap out of me. And I can only imagine the 3 and outs and the how many drives and fumbles or missed, whatever that happened in order for us to only score 27 points. So I need Joe Brady to go out there and be great.
Ooh, Boy, you've been on fire on Brady the whole episode, Justin.
Absolutely. No. I've been on fire on Brady the whole season because even when we were 4-0, I was on here like the offense looks terrible. The offense does not look good. And then when we lost back-to-back games, I put it on offense. I don't expect our defense to help us win a championship. We got so many people injured. I'm not going to say we don't have a real defensive coordinator, but we have essentially a defensive coordinator in training. And then when Sean McDermott comes in and takes the clipboard, the defense looks good again. So I you know what I mean? So I need for our offense who possesses the best quarterback in the world, who possesses a top 3 running back, who possesses a top 5 offensive line to go out there and look like it. That's what I need.
All right,
So
that's respect. That's respect, Clay. Respect.
that'll be all for us here, Buffalo fan base. Check us out next week. Check us out at we'll probably record tomorrow after the game. Catch Muki, WUFO. And yeah, man, that'll be all for us. I'm Justus General Radford, Muki Hawkins. You guys know we appreciate every like, comment, subscription, retweet, repost, super chat, all the support you guys give to us. We appreciate it. And that'll be all for us. So with that all, go Bills, and we are out.